transmissions detected.
Kill them all.
Another day to live through. Better get started.
I fly a starship across the universe divide, and when I reach the other side, I'll find a place to rest my spirit if I can. Perhaps I may become a highwayman again, or I may simply be a single drop of rain, but I will remain. I'll be back again and again and again and again and again and again.
Hello, my friends. Today I document Antarctica and the worldwide event that caused the Earth to do things we can't imagine. There are areas that were affected far worse than others, and Antarctica happens to be one of those places. For unknown reasons, the temperature went from about 70 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 150 degrees in a matter of minutes. Hundreds of feet of ice and snow fell on both Antarctica and the North Pole. What caused this weather anomaly? Well, in my search, some thought the flood of Noah, some figured it had to be much later than that, like in the last 500 years. A second worldwide event that included a bit of everything that you can think of, even atomic energy weapons. Currently, Antarctica is guarded by the military, and it's off limits to the public, from what I can gather.
That's another misconception too. A lot of people think you can't go to Antarctica. Poor people can't go to Antarctica.
Right. Well, imagine that. So Antarctica was said to be a wasteland, void of life. Historians have told us that no human civilization ever lived there. I checked to make sure, and yes, it's official. The whole place has been frozen over for around 34 million years. And no, I can't believe it wasn't 33 million, but if there was any life at all there under the ice and snow, they say it would only be microbial.
That's not entirely accurate.
Many people have theorized that if everything was flash frozen within a few minutes or seconds, that means Antarctica is a literal time capsule. So in 2006, NASA claims their satellite, whatever it is, detected a magnetic anomaly under the ice in Antarctica that was the size of a city. They went and checked it out. 19 years later, we got zero answers.
A hidden world was discovered under the outer edges of the Ross Ice Shelf, the biggest floating ice chunk globally in Antarctica. This happened during a research project that aimed to understand how climate change is affecting the melting ice shelf and its ecosystems. NASA scientist Robert Binshedler expressed how shocked he was by this finding in an interview. According to him and his team, they went into the area thinking nothing would be there, but what they found was a shrimp that almost looked like the ones people usually eat.
They can't help it. Those are the key words they were taught. Keep in mind, these are the same people who told everyone they went to the moon, and that we're all descendants of monkeys too. So what's it all mean? Well, the entire continent of Antarctica at one time was lush and green. Despite everything that you were told your entire life, now they know that was wrong. Well, that suggests that it was full of people and animals then, not too long ago. Well, then there was a cataclysm of some kind, worldwide. A comet, an asteroid, the Great Flood, a second flood, a nuclear exchange, all of the above. We can't be sure, but it caused an immediate freeze, especially here in Antarctica. Whatever is below the ice has been basically preserved in suspended animation. It's the only vault of human history we had left that was untouched by modern man. And we screwed up by letting them do it, because there's no telling what's been found by now, no telling whose graves they've dug up or what terrible thing may get thawed out. Even the little beasties that aren't from Earth are said to, hang out in these areas. For what reason? No one has a clue. But they are illegal aliens in the purest sense of the word, are they not? A long time ago, we were given satellite images showing geometric shapes buried deep under the ice.
Not satellite.
Whatever they are. Scientists say all of them are natural. But check out that enormous rock face. It's unreal. That is not AI. Isn't that crazy? How about this mountain in Antarctica? Look very close. There's one coming up where you can see it. There is a square door right up there. Well, it's in the pictures, plain to see, but nah. I guess it's just a natural square in the mountain. You know how they do that. In the book Fire and Gravel, an unknown event is said to have happened to our world, and afterwards, when the survivors had educated themselves a bit, they went off exploring. And of course, modern historians are like, no, they're just lying. We will tell you what happened. You know, millions of years and monkey stuff. I found many different stories that claim the first explorers found massive ruins all over the world. Empty cities, palaces, you name it, including in Antarctica. There they found a strong door again. The entrance was carved into the mountain. It led many miles beneath the surface of the earth, and, well, it had been abandoned long before they got there, so nobody knows who did it. Now, those stories seem like underground bases to me. Some say, no, it's just a cave, whatever, but you be the judge. They were written about by early adventurers and explorers. Are the claims true or not? Who can say? At this point, nothing surprises me. Antarctica by itself has always been a strange place too, known as the land where giants lived, where monstrous beings and dragons dwell, complete with dogmen and strange people that have their faces on their chest. After I investigated what the scientists have discovered, I take it there was a truly apocalyptic event that happened worldwide. Why no one says anything, who knows? I guess if it doesn't include demons and stuff, it ain't worth it, is it? So this event, it happened a few hundred years ago. Maybe it was the 1500s, 1800s, nobody's really sure. We have the issue of the historical records missing for between 300 and 1,000 years of time, give or take, 300 here, 700 here, so on. But even crazier than that, the official documents claim every country had their revolution around the same time. The War of 1812 was popular, give or take a couple years. There were a couple of decades where no one got along, no one. Countries were invaded, kings were overthrown, even the king of Hawaii was overthrown. Can you believe that? The list of battles and wars from the 1800s is absolutely unbelievable. The official record is so outrageous, it's why some people question its accuracy. I mean, how are they in the record if there's no record of the people you're saying fought this war? Like some of those people, you can't even find anything about it. I don't know where they got all this stuff at. Check it out when you get a chance. There's a little bit of it I'm showing now. But after a few minutes, you'll see it's just a big show. I mean, there's no way all of this took place at the same time. It's absolutely unreal. There wasn't even enough people in the world for all this. Yeah. Then we have the main culprit, what was thought to be responsible for most of the destruction worldwide. Perhaps with other weapons involved, a nuclear winter could have been supercharged. No one can say for sure. Could it do that? We don't know. We've never really seen a worldwide nuclear event. The reasoning behind such an outrageous claim is not unfounded. Modern scientists have located many areas that include ancient cities from Russia to Africa, where the soil there contains cesium-137, strontium-90, and other atomic isotopes. Their presence can only be a result of humans because they're found in nature, or they're not found in nature. Even though it's unthinkable, an atomic weapon of some kind was detonated many years ago. And what I gathered, from my quick course in atomic energy is, you get some uranium from, let's say, Australia and make a weapon with it. Then you get you some uranium from America and make another one. Set them both off afterward. There will be a distinct difference in the radioactive elements left behind. The soil will have a fingerprint on the uranium of sorts that'll tell you exactly what continent it came from. That's pretty wild, isn't it? That's what they say, not me. A video by itself But do your research. You're going to find that scientists have found evidence based on this heavy metal fingerprint that just about every major country was involved in this battle, war, attack, whatever it was. You know, except for South America, which for whatever reason, I know somebody that knows why they weren't named. That's another video too, but crazy. Believe me, I know how you feel. This is just silly, right? Well, what that leaves me with is this. It appears that we have detected both a natural event and a man-made one mixed all together. What caused either of them and how many at once, nobody knows. On every continent, we have found signs of extreme fires or fervent heat, abnormal earthquake activity, torrential mud floods, regular floods, volcanoes, explosions, name it, we find it. Also, there were deserts and other areas containing green silica glass, or trinitite. Nothing grows there, like Mohenjo-Daro and other places. Or, in Africa, there's an area about 1,000 square miles where you can find trinitite everywhere. And they say, we've never set a nuclear bomb off there. Someone did. What's claimed by scientists is that this green glass is not from an impact like an asteroid or a comet. Trinitite is only the result of the extreme heat given off by an atomic blast. That's what leaves it radiated. Look at that. It's radioactive. There's no telling what that is. What makes it so confusing is everything seems to have happened all at once, or back to back, which is why we're sort of at a loss in explaining exactly how it all went down, or being very exact. But I'm going to go back to this irradiated rock. To me, that thing just looks wild. They say that's the remnants of a reactor core, allegedly. Like an ancient one, like the structure is all gone, and whatever was, it was contained in is deteriorated. It's been so long. How it got there, what it really is, nobody knows. Isn't that wild? And with that information, as out there as all that was, it led me to the nuclear winter scenario. So I checked to see what proof we had on that then. Well, in 1900, 125 years ago, Russian hunters in Siberia found mammoths who had been frozen in the ice. When they dug one up, scientists found undigested dandelions or buttercups in its stomach, and even some still in its mouth it was chewing on before it died. And it proved that he was frozen within minutes. And that water buffalo looks like it just laid down and froze right there. So I found the proof that in places all over, especially, in the Arctic region, everything suddenly froze, and they know that. So I kept on spiraling down this rabbit hole, and the old maps came up again. And, I love me some maps, right? It was claimed the proof was that, well, no ice and snow is shown on either pole areas 500 years ago. Well, I looked, and famous cartographers drew Antarctica on their maps. Sure enough, the Piri-Reis map drawn in 1513 shows the continent without ice. Yep. Another map in 1565 by Ferrando Bertelli shows Antarctica green without ice and snow, but many others do too. That goes for the North Poles. They show those. There's supposed to be 4 islands with a huge black rock or a mountain in the middle of it, but I don't see them anywhere. On the globe map, it doesn't have them. It's very weird that there's 2 totally different realities to choose from, isn't it? Weird. Yeah, I thought so too. As I was reading about Captain Cook, there were a lot of other boats sailing around that they reported, running into. And what I take from that is a boat on the open ocean was the main transportation people had back then for thousands of years. Even the balloon captains used the fake maps. Next, I realized around the time America gained their independence in 1776, it's almost as if no person had ever explored the world. Honestly, it really seemed that way. If they did, a slight pause for a few decades occurred in their adventures, and it only started up again around the early 1800s, and that's why it's sort of a jumble of mess in the historical records. It was like a mad rush to stake claims on everything. The amount of, I would say, discrepancy to me, it's the result of this major apocalyptic event that happened worldwide. It's why people came with all that nonsense all of a sudden. I found Antarctica in 1820. It's why people made claims on stuff, and you're just like, how did you possibly, find that, make that, whatever, right? Well, they thought they could change the reality and nobody would notice, for fame and fortune, money, right? That's why they did it. And the investigation took me, of course, to the historians. And they claimed that, well, Hitler looted all of Europe and Africa. I knew that already, but not from school. Mainly because of watching Indiana Jones, right? Oh, sorry. Hollywood portrayed all sorts of weirdness that went on, and apparently Hitler and the Nazis were partial to the ancient records and the journals of the past, especially the occult records. He sent men to every corner of the earth in search of relics and treasure, and many stories claim on several occasions they found what they were looking for. But doesn't that seem off a little bit? Like, even though they were going into major populated cities and no museum was safe around them, it's what they did at the ancient sites that kind of left me wondering, okay, so what did they find? Some claim vimanas, flying machines, advanced weaponry, and it's the reason, like, they were so far ahead of the rest of the world. Like, their guns were unmatched in World War II for many years. Some say it went way deeper than that, though, like as far as the actual Ark of the Covenant itself. Like they show in the movies, right? Truth in plain sight. As they cart it off to its proper hiding place on the shelf there. Then I learned on December 17th, 1938, the new Swabia expedition left Hamburg in secret for Antarctica. Officially, the 82-man crew was just exploring for scientific purposes. Rumors say they were to retrieve relics that were frozen under the ice. And see, that's what I figured. Years later, the claim comes out, Germans found caverns that were warmed by geothermal vents which formed ancient tunnels under the ice. They were big enough to navigate through, too. They were accessible from the ocean. Apparently, they had begun using these underground passages or rivers to get around with. They built a base there. Here's the famous map. A German U-boat captain was caught with this, and I take it he used to navigate with it, but it just made him feel better because it's a fake map that leads to nowhere. Without going for myself, who knows what it is. After the war, U-boats were said to have fled south to base 211 instead of surrendering. Using this underwater passage or passages throughout the ice, or they had the nerve to say, they went to America and NASA hired them. Yeah. That would be psychotic to even say that, but it is true, right? Wouldn't it be weird, though, if we ever found those rivers and, like the passages under the ice that they said weren't there? That'd be something, wouldn't it?
Scientists saw a groove in the ice shelf in satellite images, close to where it meets the land, and thought it might be a secret underwater area. Experts have been predicting the existence of rivers and lakes under the Antarctic ice for a while, but nobody has checked them out yet. When the team realized it was a subterranean river, they went to Antarctica and drilled down 1,640 feet below the ice using a special hot water drill system from the Victoria University of Wellington. Once they reached the hidden cavern, they sent a camera down. At first, everything looked blurry. No one could make out what they were seeing. But when they adjusted the camera focus, they found out it was actually living crustaceans.
Don't worry, folks. It's all part of a show.
Research team noticed something interesting about the water under the Antarctic ice shelf. They saw that the water split into 4 to 5 separate layers, each flowing in different directions. This happens because water often forms distinct layers that don't mix easily, mainly because of differences in temperature and saltiness. Since the Antarctic ice shelves float, water is always moving underneath them, going in and out of the open ocean. Some of these water layers are warm and can make the ice shelves melt.
Now, after the Americans figured out what the Germans were up to, in 1946, like right when the war ended, America launches their little get-together in Antarctica called Operation High Jump. It was led by Admiral Richard Byrd, and we know the story. I won't bore you with it. But the reason people began to question what was told to us about the South Pole wasn't a conspiracy. Admiral Byrd's own words caused the inquiry by the public. He was a decorated admiral. He was not senile. It was not Joe Biden we were talking about here. So he had no reason to go on national TV and lie and, just ruin his whole career when he was an old man, right? He famously stated that America had to prepare for enemy aircraft that could fly from pole to pole at incredible speed. Newspapers went nuts when he said it. I take it the Admiral was speaking of UFOs. He went on another show and talked about the land beyond the pole and how there was much more left to explore for mankind. When he died, people claimed they had his personal journal, and in it he wrote about a highly advanced race of people he ran into, and it's who kind of took out a couple of his planes and a few men. They lived in a huge city deep in Antarctica. Is that true? Well, not according to the powers that be. No, he was just a crazy old man. But read the books and you decide. Next, I was led to the Antarctic Treaty itself. It stated the proof to me that I was wrong about the military being in Antarctica, because they were like, it's illegal. Now, I don't know how I was wrong. I mean, there they are right there. In 1959, all major countries signed this document. The treaty banned military activity, mining, private exploration, all of it. But the most hilarious thing is how many private companies I found exploring Antarctica. Look at what BBC recorded. I couldn't find the video, just the pictures. That's NASA scientists doing that. I thought blowing stuff up there was prohibited. I guess if you do it for science, it's not, right? I don't know. Over 60 years passes. Not one nation broke any of the treaty. It's amazing. You can't even fly directly over certain large areas, like at the North Pole. They have a no-fly zone there, right? Antarctica has one too.
July 2018, Linda Moulton Howe interviewed a whistleblower who offered to provide her with classified information regarding Antarctica on the condition that she not reveal his identity. Her source, a retired Navy SEAL who she identifies as Spartan 1, provided her with details of an ancient structure he claims to have visited during his time at the South Pole.
At that time, my rank was First Lieutenant Commander, Naval Special Operations. We were inbound the southeast coast of Antarctica. We were dispatched for, unofficially, was a research reconnaissance mission. Officially, it was to find a certain individual, obtain any information, and bring it back.
What was the date?
August 2003.
According to Spartan 1, when he and his team reached their destination, they encountered a large octagonal structure protruding from the ice. Cautiously, they proceeded to enter it.
At the very top of the first structure that we entered, there was almost 18 feet poking from the ice. The rest of it was hidden under the ice. Each door was the same, anywhere from 18 feet thick to around 30 feet thick. And even though these doors were that thick and that heavy, you could take one finger and push them and they would open. There was no resistance whatsoever. The outside temperature was at least 40 degrees below zero. Once you stepped inside these structures, the temperature was an ambient 68 to 72 degrees.
What about the ceilings, hallways, floors?
It was lighted from the inside, but we could not find the source of light. It was a lime green in color. The walls were lined with what I call hieroglyphics, but nothing of hieroglyphics that I've ever seen in my life.
Could there really be mysterious structures buried at the South Pole? Structures built by an advanced extraterrestrial civilization in our remote past.
Buried underneath the ice in Antarctica could well be stone temple constructions. There could be biological material, remains of beings that lived there and could still be there. It could be the greatest reveal in all of human history.
Now, is that true? I don't know, right? They stuck it on ancient aliens so nobody would believe it. You know, who knows? As proof of the event causing immediate climate chaos, on some of the coastline in Antarctica, I found where, well, it's a tad bit warmer there, but look how green it is underneath the melting ice. And when I checked, it was like, oops, we didn't need that to happen. I found out that NASA scientists, for sure, and that's who's leading all this stuff in Antarctica, by the way. It's all NASA scientists. So they know that both North and South poles truly froze over quite fast, and the buildup of hundreds of feet of snow and ice wasn't the result of climate change. It was a sudden event all at once. The grass under the ice and food in the mouths of grazing animals proved that they were flash frozen within minutes. Yep, check that out. There's a copper vein in a rock right there. Doesn't that look almost unreal? Imagine all the other stuff that's there, you know. But think of what got frozen. All the animals and beings that are on the old maps. What was reported by adventurers and explorers. It's a scary thought because they claim some outrageous things. And the scientists, well, they claim that the preservation of what they found so far is perfect. They even talk about cloning animals like back in the 90s. It's because of how well they were preserved. Like they said, there's still urine in the bladder, blood in the veins of their animals, the skin is intact, everything. Yeah. I wonder if they found a T-Rex yet, huh? I can't wait to see one of those eat somebody in Central Park on TikTok one day. Then we'll know it's real. Before then, nobody's going to believe anything. Speaking of frozen beasties, this is Blood Falls in Victoria Land, East Antarctica. And this is what kind of really stands out to me, right? It was found in 1911 by an Australian geologist named Thomas Griffith Taylor. But I see something totally different than what the NASA scientists tell us is going on here. It flows right out from underneath the ice, and scientists say it is iron-rich hypersaline water from bacteria in a lake deep under the... okay, so let's rewind for a second. Iron-rich hypersaline water. That's blood, is it not? The question I have is if this hypersaline, iron-rich water comes from a huge lake underneath the ice, then why does it only come out right there in that one spot, that one glacier, and absolutely nowhere else?
Weird.
I'm sure there's nothing thawing out under there that we need to worry about, is it? The North Pole is just as odd. Look at this flyover by a Russian bomber. I believe it's in the 60s. I couldn't get a straight answer. I do know it's not AI. So this video has been around for a while. I've actually had this for a while. But what is going on here? I'll let it play so you can watch it. It's mesmerizing. There's something coming in, flowing out. I can't tell if it's plasma, electricity. I don't know. And in this other video, if you look closely to the little opening there with all the light coming out of it, it is almost like people or souls walking around. I don't know what it is. Who can say? But I'm not sure why these things are even talked about anymore, honestly. One would think we got answers by now, but no. Remember, whatever happened long ago has become some people's hustle. It's a way they make money. We cannot know the truth. I mean, at all costs. Number one, they're going to lose control, but number two, and most important, their money will stop. If the gravy train ever, halts itself, who's going to hire them? Their days have been spent collecting bubbles and ice cubes for climate change posters, I mean, no one will ever spill the beans either because there's no job like it. Where can you do and say such silly things like that and nobody laughs at you? Oh, and nobody pays as good as the circus does, obviously. Multiple military sources and pilots, contractors, all of them reported glowing lights, orbs, and fast-moving UAPs near the Antarctic areas. And we have several reports of them doing a couple 100 miles per hour underwater. We have senators and UAP task force members like Tim Burchett claiming that there were 5 or 6 deep water areas in the ocean where they know UAPs come and go, most of them being in the vicinity of Antarctica.
Antarctica is the last frontier. It holds our imagination. Old maps that said, "Here be monsters." The last remaining territory on the planet that could have such a designation is Antarctica.
Something seems to be going on this mysterious continent at the South Pole. And it has been theorized by a number of people that Antarctica is some kind of alien base.
Rumors of extraterrestrial activity in Antarctica have circulated for years. If these accounts are true, and there is, in fact, an extraterrestrial presence in Antarctica today, could it have been there for hundreds or even thousands of years?
So what's that got to do with the price of tea, you may ask? Well, there's a few scenarios that need to be taken into account that I found. One theory was these clowns were responsible for the worldwide cataclysm. I didn't agree with that, but I get it. They said they destroyed everything. Then they retreated to a couple of areas that were off limits to the public, where they just do what they do now, away from all of us. One scenario said was probably the same guys that beat up Admiral Byrd and sent him back home early. Now they basically hang out in the shadows, watching, waiting. Now, who can be sure? Since we get no answers, who knows? Another theory I got was the biblical story. But I found out immediately there's a huge part of this missing, though. I mean, as good as it is, I'm not knocking it. It still doesn't explain everything properly. I mean, I'm sure that it used to. It's just they took it all out. And we took the scientists' word as complete truth. All of mankind took their word. And we still do today. I mean, I don't know why. They've lost all credibility, but, we were tricked into overlooking thousands of years of legend and history for their modern, godless explanation. And that will bite us one day. Watch and see. In the end, in 2025, with just a little investigation, you find out there was never an ice age, or millions and billions of years. And if it was, not one soul on this planet knows that, okay? That is just a straight up guess. Dinosaurs, they don't even fit into the story. I mean, dragons and giants do, which seems pretty strange, doesn't it? We know that the evolutionary theory that they gave us for life was totally false. We know they lied about Antarctica. And that, well, right, like what's going on here? We know they can't measure stars and fly across the universe. It's all make-believe. So what could they have hidden from us this entire time? I think, in what I can see, they hid the old world from us. You see, Antarctica, it would prove it. So they did all that they did and got everything cleaned up and swept up. And, oh, I found this. This is mine, right? A foundry and a mine. I just thought, wow, that's crazy if that's true, right? I mean, look at the words we're using for stuff. It just seems like they were like, they're so stupid, they'll never get it. What makes it so concerning to me? This old world, after the flood, many thousands of years later, within the last few hundred years, was destroyed by both war and natural events. But what makes it so messed up and so concerning is that the population before this event or these events have been speculated to be upwards of 10 billion people. I gathered this would be bad if anyone ever put two and two together on like who's responsible. It would restructure everything, would it not? All they built up would come crumbling down. But people wear those blinders. They don't want to see nothing going on around them. They believe what they're told. And as far as looking into any of this, you know what? They don't want their parents, their friends, their co-workers, and people to laugh at them because they've been taught that you're stupid. Well, if you back up with time, 20, 30 years ago, we knew that our government was full of a bunch of clowns and it was nothing but a circus going on in front of us. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, the government's here to help us. It's crazy. The maps, science, astronomy, history, all of it had to be changed. You can't just change maps without changing the rest of it. You can't change astronomy without changing it all. So what's a lie? All of it in some way, shape, or form. It's all part of the tangled web of deceit and lies that you see all throughout history, all throughout the record. It's kind of blatant, really. I mean, have you ever wondered, how do you guys put a point something on billions of years? 82.34 billion years. Are you kidding me? Who? Before I go, here's something about NASA I thought of while watching cave diving to prove a point. Now, some of you already know exactly what I'm going to say. You see, if NASA was so high-tech, if they could really survive extreme pressures and temperatures with their suits in outer space, why do they not share this advanced, self-contained breathing apparatus, whatever it is, with the world? Because cave divers still have issues with their breathing units. They could use some help. Because we can't go below the water without the risk of serious injury or death. Technology is lacking for us in this department. So how does NASA do it? In such a harsh environment, in that many atmospheres, how do they do that? They've clocked countless hours in their suits. Seems like a red flag to me, you know? We go to space, but dip our heads underwater. And with the janky technology we have now, we're not going to make it. The world's a crazy place, full of wonders and mysteries, but some things have been deemed too shocking for peasants to know about. Perhaps knowing what happened would cause too much confusion at this point. And the powers that be can't have that. I guess they went through all the scenarios and were like, you know what, it's best just to not say anything. If everyone knew the truth about their past, they would never bow down to modern man's insanity. If it was known how life ended for billions of people one day long ago, there'd probably be no division because the enemy would be clearly visible to everyone. Antarctica and other places will just probably remain a mystery to most of us because, I mean, we're never going to get an answer. It's now the elite Disneyland and Disney World, both north and south. And I say good for them, you know, because I don't like their kind anyway. And I hate the cold even more. I don't know about you. I wait for it to get warmer, you know. Perhaps when they have another get together with their friends under the ice, it'll freeze over again and trap them all below.
Who knows? In 1,000 years, even you may be worth something. Son of a bitch.
Until then, who cares? I got a lot of stuff to do anyway, you know. It's just what I needed to say about that. My love to you all. I'm Wild Dog, and I am out of here.
Oh, it's all part of the show.
I fly a starship across the universe divide, and when I reach the other side, I'll find a place to rest my spirit if I can. Perhaps I may become a highwayman again, or I may simply be a single drop of rain.
Sorry.
But I will remain, and I'll be back again.